Everybody, it's Steve Olson. It is Saturday, November 4th, 2017, and I'm here with two of my great friends. Alex, how are you today?
I'm okay. How about yourself?
And then Dom Von Daisy. Daisy, how are you today?
I'm swell, thank you. I know it's a mouthful. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to refer to you as Daisy. Is that okay?
That's good. That's good.
All right, cool. So anyway, we have the Small Researcher Focus today, and we brought on Daisy today because she has a small channel, about 1,000 subscribers. It's growing. Very aware, very focused on the truth, very focused on truth pursuit. Daisy, how are you doing this weekend?
I'm swell, thank you for asking. Living lovely. How are you?
Good. And what's new in the world of Buffalo, New York?
Oh my goodness, the weather has been ridiculous. I'm not even kidding. It's been like total coverage all the time. It's been cold, of course. It gets cold here quicker, but they're very cold.
Hello, everyone. This is Star.
Star, hey, welcome.
Hi, Star.
Welcome.
Hey, Star.
Hello. Good to talk to everybody.
It's wonderful to have you on the show today.
Wonderful to be here. Glad to finally get in touch with you.
Right on. Well, we're gonna work it. We're gonna work around here, but right now, guys, what I want to focus on. This is Alex's one of your subscribers, I think, right, Alex?
Yes.
And what are we seeing here?
What we're seeing right here is in a webcam in Germany. Actually, I think it's in Hungary. They caught an object that was traveling through the webcam, and they took snapshots of it, and they gave me like 10 of them, and you can actually see this object move. This is the first object. This is the first picture, and I'm going to share the second one. See it move again. It's moving.
Moving from right to left in the frame, it looks like.
Yep. And it goes again. It goes back to that. And there it is right here. Okay, the one thing I need to remind you. Remember that Canada picture I shared with you a couple of weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Remember where I had that little, it looked like almost like a half moon?
Yeah.
That's exactly what this thing is. Exactly the same thing as it is. Same thing.
Whoa.
This is when it's having its tail. And then we're going to go on to another webcam. Here goes another webcam. Here it is right here. You're going to see this move.
Yeah.
There it is. It moves.
So
Let's go back.
Wow.
So these are photographs from the second. They're from Hungary.
Yes.
Wow. So what are your thoughts, guys?
I think it's just crazy. It looks wild to me.
Well, it looks like it's at sundown, right?
Yeah.
That was the time of it?
Yes.
So if you don't mind going back to it. So was it sundown on the second and probably somewhere in the sun field somewhere? Gosh, you know, it was like that film that I had the other day from Turkey, from the Turkey camera, you guys.
Yes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All those fast-moving orbs. I don't know if we're looking at planets anymore. I want to put that out there. I don't know what these are. They move.
I'm going to
I
confirm
think
with that.
yeah, these look like, they definitely look somewhat mechanical to me, the way they move.
Absolutely.
But then again, I don't, the one question that's really bothering me, Steve, I know I've sent you this, is are these planets or like planet-sized ships, or are they, what is this? Or is this part of Bluebeam? I mean, there's, the disinformation, the misinformation has just led to so many ifs on purpose, because they don't want us to know. But it's really, when you get up close to some of these images, they look so, the sacred geometry that you can find in them isn't natural. It's a very technology looking to me.
And
It's very wise.
Alex, I just muted you because you got to turn down your mic even a little bit more, I think. Or find a way to isolate your mic from your speakers.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. So, anyway, Star, while you got you talking here for a minute, could you talk to us a little bit about some, just in theory, kind of high level? I'm not asking you to dive into the full, academics of what you're coming at, but can you in general tell us what you've been discovering over the last couple of years?
Sure. So just so you guys know, I'm a studier of some of the fringe science, physics, ether physics, scalar physics, the quantum field theory. And the issue that I had with Einstein's theory of relativity is that it doesn't really leave room for the spirit or the esoteric, which I believe 100% exists. When you get into the quantum field theories and the quantum mechanics and quantum physics, it's the impossible becomes possible. There's room for the spirits. There's room for energy that you can't see so much. And so the theory of relativity calls it dark energy. Nikola Tesla would call it radiant energy or scalar energy, the essence of light. So my background is in mathematics, science, and then I'm a professional photographer. My family owns a large photo processing lab, so I've been taking pictures for 25 years, and things started to change. And in the last 2 years, I changed residences and started seeing very strange refractions from. I'm on an east-west, north-south boundary line in my home, and these refractions, there's 4 of them. It should look like the sun, just a sunbeam, but there's 4 distinct shapes. And this is what started me on the path of looking at the sun simulator or whatever they put up into the sky. And what I've gotten into is that most of the devices that we're talking on right now, most of the world that we live in, all of the technology goes back to Nikola Tesla. So some of the documents that he had that were taken by the government when he died have been declassified. So I've been studying some of those. What I'm beginning to see and connect, a lot of us get fixated on one thing. I do believe there is something coming, a cosmic event, an ascension of higher frequencies. But I think a lot of us focus on one thing and then we forget to look over here. And that's exactly what the powers that be want us to do. They want us to get fixated and then don't pay attention to what's going on this over here, kind of like with the eclipse. So I think what I've been every day, I'm a Christian, but I believe that God is within us all. I believe that we all have divinity within us. The God code is the DNA. This would be something that Nikola Tesla would also have agreed with, that we are all children of a higher being. When you get into his discoveries, the scalar waves and the Tesla coil, the HARP machine. HARP was an invention by Nikola Tesla. And I believe those blueprints got into the wrong hands, into the government. HARP directly is diverting scalar energy, cosmic energy that is coming from the cosmos that is supposed to reach the Earth, is diverting it to these different HARP machines and redirecting it as direct energy weapons to control the weather, possibly some frequency deviation. So another thing to recognize, when I got into these papers, I realized that Nikola Tesla put his first, where he set up camp was right outside of Colorado Springs, which is in a convergence of 3 major ley lines. And if you guys aren't familiar with ley lines, I think we all need to look into this, because there's a crazy correlation between everything that's going on in the world right now and this energy grid or the consciousness grid or the 188 ley lines. And there's also a significance between the number 188 and the 188-day earthquake cycle. So you've got all the HARP machines that I can find that we know about are located on the ley lines. Nikola Tesla's experiments were located on the ley line. You've got the particle accelerator, CERN, Fermi Lab, and now there's 30,000 more. They're all located on the ley line. So when you get into these fringe science, they call it, that it's more reality, I think, than what we've been indoctrinated into a system to not think for ourselves. So, basically school was here. We're going to give you the information that we want you to know. We want to see how fast and how quickly and how well you can regurgitate that information. And that's how we're going to pass you on to the next level. Not, some of the things that we're doing is totally off kilter from what the society or the system would want us to be looking into. But I do believe that HARP is directly suppressing human consciousness, because there are many agendas here. There's layers of agendas, layers of different different groups of people, I think, that are working on, some are good, some are bad, light and dark. We're going back to biblical stuff here, but just like there's good angels and bad angels, there's light, there's dark, there could be aliens, or the aliens could be the fallen ones. It's very hard to tell because as time has progressed, people have named the same thing, so many different things like Planet X, Planet 9, Planet 7, Nibiru, the Red Kachina. You see where I'm getting at? I think a lot of the same things, a lot of these different names talk about the same object. So my real thought here is that the big picture is these ley lines are being used for mind control. They're putting up 5G electromagnetic towers, and the ley lines would be scalar energy. So that's stationary longitudinal energy. It's not electromagnetic. However, you can harness that to transfer electromagnetic frequencies. So I think they're using that to disrupt everybody. I think that you can, with some of the patents that I've seen, the sun simulator, the televisions, the phones, they can send out these pretty much any type of frequency they want to correlate with maybe some of the nanotechnology that's in the air around us to make people angry or make people sad. I think a lot of that is going on. I don't know if any of you have noticed how all of a sudden somebody might just fly off the handle for no reason, and then 10 other people around will get angry. Does anybody notice
I think
that?
we all agree with you. I think we are all in agreement about absolutely with that situation. I have not honestly found a thing that you said to be, not what I've read or started to learn about everything. So
yeah,
true.
I think, and it's like every day a little. So this is another kind of an epiphany. I'm in Columbia, Missouri. I was driving from the south, and I was on a highway thinking about the eclipse for some reason, because I went back. I don't know about you all, but I tend to go back through my photos and look, and I tend to see more after I have more epiphanies. I start to learn more as I study the physics a little bit more. I start to see more things that have always been there, but we couldn't see them. I started thinking about the Great American Eclipse. I don't believe it was an eclipse at all. First of all, where the moon was doesn't match where that path is, and then it's supposed to come back the other way in 2024 on April 3rd. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Absolutely no sense. So
right, to come back 7 years. Oh my gosh.
In the opposite direction, it would mean that
I know.
It makes
Come on,
no
people.
sense. But again, we're part of the brain drain generation where they have literally, we're not self-reliant. We're reliant, pay your taxes, go to work, look at your phones. You don't want to look at the sky because we're going to hide whatever's coming. And it's coming, whatever it is. A machine, a planet-sized ship, and it may be closer than we think. I don't know about you, Steve, but from what I'm seeing, it looks close. And it looks like, if you guys look at the clouds and read ancient Sumerian texts, these beings, like maybe the fallen or the mediator between God and us, maybe the people who are manipulating the DNA to create us, they came to Earth in what they called shams, or like little saucers. I see these shapes in the clouds, and I keep them in a folder, but the shapes of the clouds are not natural whatsoever, and it really has gotten more bizarre, especially on the webcams. Look at the FAA webcams. All over the world, I'm seeing these things, and they certainly look like ships, is only thing I could say, little ships, and some of them are big, and when the chemtrails come in, it seems to highlight certain parts of them. So basically, I'm in all kinds of different fields now, kind of. I try not to go too far down the rabbit hole in each one, because really, I think these eclipses are occurring on the ley lines, is my point I was getting at. I think they're utilizing the ley lines, some for good, some for bad, but I do believe that eclipse marked some sort of a ritual, and I'm not sure that it was a positive ritual. And then the whole 7 years, when you've got the tribulation being 7 years and it coming back after 7 years, I'm sort of linking that to biblical and, some other prophecies that have happened. So I want to put that out there maybe for some other minds to start looking into the connections of the ley lines and how some of these powers that are in control of our society, which is really not the government, it's the special space programs, the military-industrial complex, the Rothschilds, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it, it's not the elected officials. It's the people that aren't elected.
Star, you know you're sitting with folks that agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
We're all studying this, and Daisy and I were just talking about the oppressive feeling a couple days ago that we were noticing, and then I found out when I kind of expressed myself a little bit out there, a little bit to friends and family, it was like everybody was feeling that way. It almost
absolutely
cranked this thing up a notch, or some circuit got connected or something, because it's driving me into a place of tiredness and fatigue and just not a good place.
Well, another thing to consider is that humanity is due. I do believe that the Earth is shifting into a higher dimension. I think that even if it wasn't supposed to, that some of these frequencies that we're using are not natural. So if the Schumann resonance of Earth is 7.83, that would be our resonance. And there's different levels where are considered Schumann resonance of the Earth. They can spike with certain cosmic energies. Mm-hmm. When you put a 4G or a 5G tower up, that's gigahertz. So we're talking about 5 billion hertz. What do you think that does to our DNA? What do you think that does to our body or our behavior? So in my opinion, it's really not what we can see that's more troubling. It's what we can't see that's really disrupting the human experience. And we're all welcome. I mean, not all of us. We're all like, I'm on my phone all the time because I travel, and I start to recognize that it's kind of like it becomes like I'm a cyborg. You know, if I don't have my phone, I don't know what to do. And that's kind of like the transhumanism that they're trying to steal our souls with these electronic devices. But I think there's also some good forces here at work, like these prisms up there that I think I see. This might be part of, I see more than one thing when I'm looking at this system up there. It is complex. There are discs and rotating orbs, and they're colorful. There's certain ones that are red, blue, light blue, and they're in an order. And I think that some of this could be to deflect. Some of that could be, it looks just like the chakra system. The color pattern that I see reminds me of pictures of the chakra system and the ether system. So just like I don't think everything is all bad, I don't think everything is all good. I think there's several forces at work here. Some of them are trying to help humanity. Some of them are trying to kill us literally with, putting aluminum in the air in nanoparticulates. That'll kill the entire biosphere. So, and the thing that people really need to understand with the barium, strontium, thorium, and magnesium, that nanoparticulate was created. It basically can be put into an engine and created in the exhaust of the engine because it's 720 degrees to create that particular molecule, and they're dropping it on us. In the Industrial Revolution, there were more of those chemicals in the air, but the biosphere didn't absorb it because it wasn't in that molecule. So why now we have clear air, but we have a poisoned biosphere begs the question, who's doing that? And I think they're also trying to pollute the water to control water rights. So, once again, I don't want to go down one rabbit hole, but it's like, I think that the most important thing any of us can do is get together, because if anybody says that one person cannot change the course of history, they need to study Nikola Tesla or Aristotle, talked about ether, or even, Adolf Hitler. That man changed the course of history too he was bad.
Oh my gosh. If you want to talk about the frequencies in Hitler, sorry to interrupt, but come on. They control us with the music, and the frequencies is in the negative frequency, and it makes us all angry. And that was Hitler's doing. That was their mind control ideas. And that's where it came from. And what did we do? Tesla. Come on. Exactly. I know, and I love Tesla.
Okay, so Star, thank you for laying out some, but you went through a lot and bit off of it. Let's get to some of the other folks. We just got is on. How are you, John? Got to unmute you, bro.
How you doing?
I'm doing
good.
great. So thank you. Welcome. I knew you were going to be a little bit late.
Yeah.
But let's bounce this around a little bit. So all of this, the things that we're seeing, right? We're getting really skeptical. Like Star, I'm showing a couple of your things up right now that you sent to me through the last couple of weeks as we were getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Look at your stuff. And she tried to do as an expert in these optics, she tried to do a diagram, and we're going to definitely go through this stuff with Star down the road, not try to bite it all off. But guys, and this is kind of open to the panel here, who is doing all of this opticscape?
I don't know. The shadow government. It's the who, you know what, who has so much power to summon all the highest leaders of our world to Antarctica? Tell me that. That's who it is.
Well, I would imagine.
What do you guys think about this?
Go ahead, John. Let's let John go ahead.
Yeah.
I would imagine it'd be a continuity of a government type of agency.
Absolutely.
I'm not opposed to thinking that some of this technology is not of human origin because of what I'm seeing. I think that there's definitely something else, whether they be demons, fallen angels, and there's just been some strange,
they've been assisted by biological, well, you might want to say biological computers for a while now.
It could be artificial intelligence. That's another thing, yeah. Artificial intelligence comes into play here, but that could be part of alien.
Intelligence comes into
let's try to get into a group. I'm talking. What I want to try to put on the table, you guys, and let me kind of help just be a facilitator of the conversation. I want to get this going. Why would anybody want to hide planets, systems? Why would they want to obfuscate what's in the sky? Why would they
control?
The fear outweighs the good. The fear, it's not going to work out if people knew what was going on, and they would be scared, or they would make a choice, and we can't have that happening.
Yeah, if people realize
in control of 7 billion people,
years ago, it would
right.
You know,
so if you're in control of 7 billion people, the only thing to fear would be losing control of 7 billion people. Right?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So they don't want to lose control because we might say, oh, well, we don't have to go to work.
But who are we talking about?
FEMA, Off-World, Solar Warden Program, Breakaway Civilization, you name it.
Let's start with the first one. Sorry about that. Let's see. I think I muted somebody and I unmuted somebody.
Alex is the only one I see on mute.
All right, there we go. So, guys, we've been looking at this for a long time, and I'm starting to suspect that I'm not looking at planets half the time. I'm looking at either space.
Well, what you're actually looking at are 5-dimensional bodies bleeding through into the 3rd and 4th dimension.
I said this too. Sorry to jump right in, but in one of my videos, I pointed that out.
Was that we
are
multi-dimensional beings that have been trapped in this level, and that we are raising our vibrational level into higher dimensions.
I agree with that. And if you think that there's so much mystery beneath our feet, oh my gosh, you have no idea. It's not just above us, it's below us. We're getting attacked from all sides.
Told you it was a granddaddy.
I think that's true too.
Yes, it is, absolutely. And I think that's, part of it is that it just seems so big, or too, there's so many moving factors to this one thing.
I have my suspicions why everything was revealed to me the way it was, and it has to do with genetics and family line. And I'm not sure how much he wants me to release at this time, but he wants the information out there so that we don't go through this cycle again.
Alex,
that's the thing, is that we are going through a cycle.
Yeah, we are. But the question is, do we want to abort the cycle early and wipe out everybody and start over? Or do we want to carry it out to eternity and go out to the stars?
I'm trying to get out of here in the 4th and just keep going. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, one day I'm just going to not be here.
I didn't think it was our right to decide to abort it early, so I didn't.
I know. Obviously, we don't have that choice at the moment. So it's just we can do the best we can and getting the word out there and just trying to help others see in the most positive way. I don't want to people to feel scared or afraid of this. This isn't something to be afraid of. This is beautiful.
It's not.
It's amazing.
But this is something very serious. The trolling factions that are out there that are working for the negative entities. I mean, I had someone that was talking to me earlier today that was ready to kill themselves, and I can't stop them from doing it. But I mean, I can encourage them that that's not the way to do it, because we're only judged by what we take across to the other side. That's all we're judged on, is our own personal baggage.
I'm going to say the same thing. I would like that message out there as well. We need to start taking responsibility for our own and stop wanting for someone to come save us. Save yourselves, for God's sake. You know, just put in the effort. Just take ownership. Well, I think, that's half the battle.
I think, Steve, you know, one of the things that I've really respected about your channel is that you always end with I wish you all well, and you talk about love and life.
Absolutely.
And what is the purpose of life? You know, it's to learn to love others, to serve others. And what has happened here, I believe, this other entity or, fallen angels, they put ego into play. And I don't believe there's any room for ego left on this plane.
The message I got was that ego had to die.
The ego death is so hard, though. It's so hard to deal with.
Very hard. And it's a fine line that God walks in between light and dark. He's the only one that can maintain that line. We can't do it. He can teach us how, but he's got to be here to do it, and that's what's going to happen.
Now, was this John that's talking?
Yeah.
John, so you were talking about bloodlines, and I have an interesting bloodline too. So I'm curious. Maybe we should talk about this off this particular
It doesn't matter.
faction.
My bloodline is fine. I mean, my bloodline, my DNA was sealed up until a couple months ago. They ran DNA tests on me when I was a kid for the forensics lab in the state of Virginia, because my sister worked there. First state to start doing DNA. Out of my family of 9 people, they could not identify my DNA. I was the only one.
Yeah, mine's the same. I can't.
Me too.
Yeah,
I find that interesting.
Our DNA was sealed to come forth in this time to bring about the purpose of the higher power.
I think so. I mean, I think that there's obviously I've been studying this. Don't you ever wonder, like, all the times in your life, and I think about all the books that I've read and all these strange things that I've been drawn to, and it comes to this precipice, and it's like these aha moments.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's
all the things.
It's the keystone piece that ties in everything together.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, though, we are all pieces to this puzzle, and that's what needs to happen. We need to we need to reunite, we need to unite, and we need to talk about these things and let each other know exactly how we're feeling, what's going on with us, where we're at with our knowledge, and just build this puzzle, because right now I feel like we've got a good base. You got the edges started, but we need to put it together and really just guide and help one another through this.
So let me ask you guys this.
I feel like we're at the beginning of the puzzle putting together now. It's almost like we finally got awake enough to just look at things, I guess.
Right.
And it's starting to resonate, many of us, right? And, and just so we don't lose the audience, we're not talking about walking away from Christ. We're not talking about walking away from your roots or any of that stuff. What we're talking about is
not at all
knowledge,
we're talking about freeing the knowledge from religion.
Guys. Just give me a second.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Let me finish this point. We got to stop drinking the baby milk, guys. There's a bigger, badder universe out there that doesn't look like a Catholic altar, okay? Heaven does not look that way. The third heaven, the fourth heaven that Paul talks about, or that any of the spiritual leaders talk about, you look at the experiences of the fourth and sixth and eighth and 10th heavens. Guys, it's time for us to grow up. This is a time for science. It's a time for objective reasoning. And it's a time to let go of superstition.
Right. Do you know what? I honestly think it would be easier if we used our technology with spirituality in mind. I really do. I think that could be a breakthrough for us. If we used it with that in our minds and with that in our hearts, I think that we would get further as a species.
All right.
I think that as we go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Please, John. Go ahead, and then Star.
What I was told was that technology has a place in this, but biology and technology will never mingle, and they will never grant immortality. That's only achieved through the heart and the mind and through God.
I agree. That's what I was going to say, that we talk about the times of Noah a lot. Those times where, the Nephilim and the fallen ones are mixing DNA. It's kind of what everybody's doing. These gremlins out there are doing now. And the technology, Adam and Eve ate from the tree of good and bad knowledge. So I don't think that certain things are supposed to be tampered with, and maybe some people have tampered with some things. I agree with the fact that there are maybe some things in our space now that are not supposed to be here. I catch some strange things I've got a lot of different filters and cameras, and some of the stuff I'm not even going to get into because it's just so bizarre. But I do think that some of the technology, it has taken us from our roots, which is to live in harmony with Earth. And it's
Absolutely
disrupting Earth. Earth is disrupted, which is disrupting us.
right. It's the whole thing that even the frequency is off. And as you said, technology, I mean, I'm a photographer as well. I've loved cameras since I was, so young. I've collected them. And this technology has helped us see further into things that we would have never been able to see. That's just how it is. That's just a fact. Our eyes wouldn't be able to pick up what our cameras can pick up, and it has helped us. And I think that it'd be a positive thing if used in the right way, you know.
There's one
just
point.
like that 0-point energy is, it's out there. You can make a 0-point energy vacuum that can power your home the size of a large boiling pot. And that technology exists. It's been, classified and then recently declassified by the government just a couple of months ago. So, this energy exists. I think that's okay because it's free and it's tapping into that ether, and every inch of ether is enough power to operate the entire Earth. But the powers that be, that doesn't make them any money.
Yeah, well, what I was told was that when they started messing with time with CERN, that it blew us out from a single universe to a multiverse with infinite possibilities. And what's going on now is the collapsing of the timeline back into a single universe. And
that could be true.
Blew it out was that they triggered a fail-safe in the program. Yep. So
do you believe that other people have experienced other things then?
Yeah, I do believe other people have experienced other things.
Because I've heard, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've heard some, wild stories of people saying that Hillary won the presidency and that they had lived through that. And I was like, dude, I believe him. Like, I love Bluebeard. Just a shout out to my boy. But
all of it plays in. It plays right in.
Right. I'm with that.
What was written.
I think people are moving in and out of there could be another universe or dimension right next to us. And some of the drone footage I have shows some really strange things, strange shadows.
What do you think God did with the spirits of the Nephilim when they were forced to roam the earth without, thirsting and hungering, but never being satisfied? They were separated just by one degree out of phase.
Yeah,
they're here, and I think the Anunnaki. I don't know if they're the same thing. But there's definitely things in this dimension, in our reality playing.
The Anunnaki are actually the royal line that created life on Earth, from what I understand.
That's what I understand.
Some people see us as royalty.
But they do not consider us to be property, and they are a highly moral species that they won't kill people. They won't do it. It's forbidden unless it's in self-defense.
And I also think they may. So when I'm doing some of these hyperphysics experiments with the sun. Yeah. One of the things I have noticed is if I'm using a barrier other than water, glass, or air, like if I use my hand, my energy, I can see light particles from my hand going up to the sky. It interacts with me as a being.
Rainbow type particles?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's because the activation was for the Rainbow Warriors, and the Rainbow Warriors have a rainbow aura.
So I see rainbow things coming off my fingers and little rainbow circles all over my hand. It's strange.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah,
and I couldn't place it.
Yeah, well, no. So what we're talking about is maybe a lot of people could relate to it. So I wanted to pull up one thing and just to help my audience a little bit, and that is when we talk about the multiple dimensions. Let's start there for a second. It sounds science fiction. It sounds dystopian. It sounds weird, right? But the reality is, guys, is that you need multiple dimensions to make things like quantum math work. You can't do that math without 11 dimensions. Okay.
Right.
Any quantum physicist will tell you that they are trying to understand mathematically up to 11 dimensions so that they can answer things like, how can a particle be in two places at the same time?
Yeah, I think there's actually one more dimension higher than what they're thinking. It's actually a 12th dimension, and that's where the source.
Let me pull it back. I'm trying to simplify right now. Just give me a second to simplify.
We need to simplify.
Let me simplify this, you guys, because you guys definitely get the level that the audience doesn't. The point that I want to make is, okay, if I'm standing in the sun, let's go back. No interrupting me. When I'm standing in the sun, and the sunshine is shining down and causing a shadow, that's my three-dimensional form projecting a two-dimensional image on the ground. Do you follow me? So a shadow is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional object. Get it? So what does a shadow from the fourth dimension look like? Or what does the shadow of a fifth dimension look like? Or what does the shadow, you see what I'm saying? So those shadows, it bears to reason that a fourth dimensional shadow would project as three dimensions. You with me?
Yeah.
So if I've got 4 and 5 dimensional objects surrounding the Earth right now as part of this big convergence or whatever that's going on, and then I'll let you guys have the floor again. The point is that it's not so ridiculous to imagine that we are actually photographing things that are in other dimensions. Guys?
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
You're spot on. I mean, I literally saw Nibiru in the sky in a cloud form and highly detailed. But you could tell that it was not in our dimension. It was just its image ghosting through bleeding into our time in our dimension.
I agree that we are trying to understand something that's bigger,
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another word in the ancient times for Nibiru is Merkaba. You guys know what that is, right?
Yes.
Or Jupiter.
Time travel.
A Merkaba is an intersecting equilateral triangle, and many people metaphysical believe that we each have one that we can activate around us. One points down, one points through our heart to the back. So another word for Nibiru is Merkaba in ancient times. So just wanted to throw that out there because I find that interesting.
Well, they said King David had one. And he could tell
them
if he wanted to.
And then Enoch, I don't know how studied people are with the Bible. The book of Enoch, talks about Enoch ascending, and he basically became this big angel,
Metatron.
Being Metatron. So Metatron's cube is a dodecahedron. It's a
tesseract.
Yeah, it's a double Merkaba. Yeah.
It's our TVs, it's our phones, it's our everything. It's our, it's
that's the false light bringer. Lucifer is basically the digital technology that tries to mimic the human eye and the honeycomb therein.
So, if we wanted to go back to simplifying things, we could say, see the book of Enoch.
My mind is beyond bizarre at the moment.
That's but I want people to understand. I want people to be able to start their research at a position where they can grasp onto what we're saying and not just hear what we're saying. I want them to know, that this is absolutely from the heart. This is genuine, and there's starter steps.
That will come with time, but it's not going to come easily for everybody.
It's a lot of information.
It really is. In so many different ways.
It's so tempting for a group of us, and this is what happens, guys, right? So we're all newly acquainted people here, right?
Yeah.
Nobody in this group has known each other more than 6 months.
Yep.
Except from videos, right?
Yeah.
And we're all starting to make these arcs and these connections with each other. Every time that I connect with people like you all, I take it up another level. It's like another realization or a new truth or something like that. And doesn't it just feel like we're working from behind sometimes? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like we're working with our hands tied behind our backs and our blindfold on sometimes. But then again, and then, but I think that's part of it. When I get too much information, it's like I have to stop for a couple of days and then I'll go back because it's just overwhelming. So I can't imagine to someone listening, that was my concern, Steve, going into too much of this was just overwhelming the audience with especially some of the physics.
We have to believe in the audience, though, and I agree. I've studied, all.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. That's all right. Well, I'm just saying, I agree. I want the audience to be able to get it and understand. And there really is so much to it. And that's even with staying outside of the whole spirituality. That's just staying within talking about Planet X and what we're seeing in the sky and what we can take pictures of. That's as simple as we can start. And then, then we can get into the governments and then, the esoteric parts in the ether realms, because trust me, all of this is pretty legit.
It's all relevant.
I'll tell you that CERN physicists, they have a very innate grasp and understanding of what's going on. And if you look at the term discernment and the key word there being CERN, it all ties right back in.
It's the modern Tower of Babel, and that's what it is. That's, to me, that's my opinion. That's what they're trying to do, and it's wrong.
And they're also going to try to say that, we are now somehow superhumans and somehow a threat to civilization, and that's not the case. We're not here.
Right, correct.
I think they're trying to open up portals.
They are. They already have. They did.
There's portals. I believe there's natural portals on these ley lines. That I really do. There's these magnetic anomalies, what we call them now.
I'm with you on that.
They're likely portals. I think that the universe is a plasmic, electromagnetic universe. I'm not saying I don't believe in gravity at all, but I think that you got to combine some of Einstein stuff with some of the quantum field theory, and you might have something in between that's accurate.
And Tesla, you do have to learn about Tesla and understand about Tesla and what he attempted to do and what we could have in the world today. We shouldn't have people dying. We shouldn't be giving up on our humans, you know what I mean? Our same species. Like, why would we let people starve and die when we have houses in Detroit that are open and we can put them in and give them free energy and give them a life and be happy? Like, we could save each other. We could help the communities and build each other up and fix things, but we don't.
There's more than enough abundance on this planet to
in empty houses.
Everybody here equally. And in fact, the problems we have, like Fukushima, through intent in large groups, can be cleaned up instantaneously.
That's just it. It's like time that we, like, even in the most, natural examples, when a lot of human beings gather together and share a objective, let's say a goal or whatever, right? We tend to do very fantastic things together, right?
Absolutely.
What did the Bible say? We need to go down there and dumb them down because they can do anything we can do.
Yeah, and I don't believe that was the spirit of the living creator talking in that particular context. I think that was some of the lesser gods talking.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I mean, I wasn't there.
No, the word was Elohim. And I'm just going to say that.
Yep, Elohim.
We're a threat. We're a threat to those lesser gods.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've heard the story about I'm going to stick to this because I really believe this. I've heard a lot of people. I've gone through the Sitchin stuff. Guys, I don't know if there's anybody as informed about what the Anunnaki are. And I've even talked to hybrid Anunnaki.
Hey.
Listen to me. I really do believe that they did not come and create us. They came and downgraded us.
Yeah, Steve. If you really want to,
as a slave race, I think that's possible.
I haven't really revealed this in public yet, but my life directly parallels Sumerian text.
I'm with you on that. I mean, it's so weird, but I was so attracted to the Sumerians, and they're everything about them. It was like I couldn't stop learning about it, or I couldn't stop. Oh man, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I know.
One of the most disturbing things about the Anunnaki and Sumerians is that there's a lot of information out there, and these governments, the Rothschilds, and Iraq took it. They took it. Saddam Hussein had a ton of Anunnaki scribes and scrolls, and the governments have taken those out of the museums and hidden them. And I don't know if you guys have heard about the sleeping giants that are like in stasis.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so strange. Things are just getting weird. I tell Steve that.
Things are getting right.
Things are getting weird.
Right, it's not funny.
Yeah, let's stick to this vibe here for a minute, though. So, and this is what I tell my Anunnaki friends, okay, that feel like persecuted every time we call them fallen angels. Is
we are the fallen angels.
They feel their feelings are hurt by this, and what the message is that the general message is that 1/3 of these higher beings decided to rebel against love and service, and they decided to rebel against that and become self-serving.
Yeah.
So
and they were influenced by lower dimensional beings as well.
It stayed with us. 2/3 of the Palladians stayed with us. 2/3 of the Zetas stayed with us. You see what I'm saying? They're not all evil. 1/3 of them are evil.
Not at all. I'm not evil. So there you go.
I'm not evil.
I'm kind of an asshole, but that's a different story.
I love you, man.
I'm not evil either.
Wait, just so everybody knows, none of us here are evil. We just want to let you know. We're just trying to, point things out that we see that others might miss and help out. That's my biggest mission right now, is just to get the word out.
No, for you to say, for a person to come and say, just a second, John, for a person to come and say to me that all aliens are evil, the fallen ones are the fallen angels, they're all evil, every single one of them is evil. I'm like, do you even read your own Bible? It said 1/3.
Do you Bible, bro?
1/3 of them fell. Okay? That means that we've got 2/3 backing us.
Yeah. That's what I'm seeing in the sky, I think, is multiple. It almost looks like there's a war in heaven. As above, so below. Is what I feel.
It's so true.
There is a war in heaven right now.
There is a war right now. There's a cosmic battle going on.
Yeah.
Alex, so Alex, let's let Alex kind of feed in. So you think there's a cosmic battle going on, Alex?
It does say there's going to be a cosmic battle going on because there is going to be a race that's going on. You got to realize, okay, I agree with you on the Anunnaki. They came and downgraded us. The reason why they came and downgraded us is because realize this. When the Creator created us, He created us in His image. He created us better than them, way better than them. I think we were way smarter than them at the time. So they got jealous of us, so they downgraded us for our DNA so we could be the way we are right now, dummy down. Because that's the reason why they messed with our DNA and they did everything, because God created us in His image. He created us way better than them. That's why they did what they did with us. They dummied us down because they were jealous of us. Remember, we are God's creation. We are in His image.
We have that divine spark. We are all a piece of God.
Yeah.
And we are all
I say this too.
trying to understand Himself. We are stars.
Yep.
It's all within us. It's within every one of us, and we have so much power.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A lot of people don't want to believe that God is a scientist. He is a scientist. The reason why, look, He put three materials together. He put neutrons, protons, and atoms. When He put those three together, He created. The only way for him to do that is he had to be a scientist to figure out what exactly needed to be together to make the ingredients. And that's exactly what He did. And He's a scientist. I don't care anybody can get mad at me or not, but God is a scientist.
I think we all are at this point. We're all, yeah.
All the DNA
we're all creators.
Is a lower vibrational form of cosmic energy. That's all it is.
There's things that you can do to raise your frequency. Just so people know, please, like for those of you who are out there watching this, know that you can raise your frequency. There's different ways. If you're worried about, not ascending or whatever it is that you believe will happen, there's so many things. Like just even being positive, smiling. I hear not eating meat helps it, but I'm not going to tell anybody how to live. If you want to eat meat, you eat meat. But I didn't eat meat for 15 years. And then, I had my son, so of course I was like, burgers. But then after that, it was like it didn't feel right for me. I felt like I was eating a loved one, or you know what I mean? It just felt like it was wrong. I don't know. That's just my
what you're coming up with is an example of raising frequency. So, Star, I missed your voice for a little bit. What are your thoughts right now?
I agree. And the first thing that we can do is start putting turning to within and maybe stop looking so much outward, start looking at our, dealing with our own blockages so that.
Meditate.
Meditation, but
please.
Always try to have our focus on other people. It's extremely important to get rid of our ego. I think diet does play a big part into it, and it's tough right now because of our system of control, the system of enslavement. The food is just not healthy. So I think becoming self-reliant and becoming, there's also, I have a pyramid that I've built of orgone. There's some gold pieces, copper disc. It's a small scalar machine, and it emits scalar waves. Now, this can serve several purposes. I think one of the things that's disrupting our frequencies is all the devices we have, the TVs, anything that's electronic. I believe these frequencies can be emitted whether they're on or off. A scalar machine will block those frequencies. So I actually sleep with this pyramid plugged into a small battery that emits scalar energy, which would protect myself and my child from any electromagnetic frequencies that are going on. It's kind of like a Faraday cage for the human body. So those things are out there. I think that that is a very smart thing, a wise thing to invest in. Some of them are very inexpensive. You can wear them around your neck because of all the different electromagnetic frequencies that are bouncing out of the air right now that will disrupt you. And I also believe that we have ingested some things from the sky that also can be controlled by frequency. So there are certain, hydrogen peroxide is one of the most important elements that we have right now, or molecular compounds that we have. You can find stabilized liquid oxygen, do detoxing, do cleansing. It's extremely important if times are going to change, whatever's coming, that we be physically, mentally, and spiritually prepared for the changes that are coming. And most of us have been eating, these GMOs and fluoride in the water, all this fast food. Our society is designed to just go, 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 go. So in order to raise our frequency, I do believe that it's multi-fold, but cleansing of what we have, cleansing ourselves mentally and spiritually, it all plays into the ascension process. And then imagine yourself ascending. I think that people's manifestation is something that I have believed in since I read some of Tesla's stuff. But some of the ideas that I come up with at work or that I've done in my life, I said, I want this. And I focused on that, and it became reality. So I believe that in your mind, you can start to believe that you are, and you are. So, but that would be my.
I'm with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who wants something.
I like that direction, but I like the idea too of what are things that just people that maybe aren't initiated with the esoteric, right? So. One thing is take your cell phone, put it away somewhere, and then go out into the wilderness and go for a long walk.
Take a break now and then, right? There's nothing wrong with getting into nature. It's natural for us. That's what we crave. We have to be grounded with the earth, and I'm with her on the whole, the vibration and, cleansing ourselves. I think that's so important too. And like you said, we have to be healthy. And I want to touch on the nanoparticles in the air real quick because a lot of people get worried or scared about that. But this is something we can fight against. We can literally take or drink something to help us rid our bodies of these foreign substances that I do not consent. We do not consent.
Everybody's saying that's the mark of the beast, but it has to be taken voluntarily. It cannot be forced upon.
Right. We have not given consent to what they are doing in our skies. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
What do you guys think?
The mental picture of not consenting. Yeah. I'm not going to do with this.
I'm not.
We are putting our foot down.
We are sovereign. We don't have to consent to any of it.
I'm not okay with killing. I'm not okay with violence. I do not consent. Nope. That is a form of fighting back.
And what I was told was that we have full authorization to defend the innocent in our own selves.
Yep. People can't hear us when we talk over each other, guys.
I know.
Hold on to your thoughts, and then please repeat that in a second, John. But the point that I was trying to get to is just the idea that you absolutely can control your anxiety. It's absolutely true, guys. You can do it. It's in your power to not fear. But it's incumbent upon you to learn how to do that. Okay, go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, what I was told was that whatever comes, we are authorized to use whatever force is necessary for self-defense and for the defense of innocence. That there will be no penalty whatsoever for that. It's a cosmic law.
Yeah, I've never had a problem
Correct.
with the idea of turning badass on somebody that's hurting the innocent. That doesn't.
Stone Cold Steve Olsen, get him.
Don't go. No, seriously, man. You know, I get what you're saying, but the thing that I wanted to get back to though is, as an individual, what can you do, right? What can you do to fight back? And a lot of times people think of, well, you got to start a YouTube channel, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, it doesn't have to be that. It's as simple as starting with that control over your own fear. It really is, guys. You have to.
Absolutely.
And
Fear is the opposite of love.
Yep.
Right.
And that's what's driving this world right now. Fear is at the wheel. Sorry, Alex.
No, I'm saying that's exactly what you agree with you. That's exactly what's controlling the whole world right now is fear. That's exactly what they're putting into the TVs. That's exactly what they're telling you.
Yep.
Exactly what they're putting in everything. They just want you. They want everyone to fear each other. They want everyone to be, how you say, separated from each other, so we don't have to be on each other. Like I was telling Steve before, this is the reason why they're not telling everybody anything, because they know we'll band together. When something happens in America, regardless of where it's at, you see every human being get together, regardless what nationality you are. Everyone bands together with that love to support what's happening. That's the reason why they don't want to announce anything what's going on, because they don't want us to get together. Because when we all get together, we will all how you say overcome.
Oh, that's a great thought, Alex. So the idea that we try to plant in our heads is that the reason they don't want to show us this planet or these objects or these different approaching systems is because they don't want people to panic. But in fact, what Alex is saying really resonates with me, that they're doing it because they know that if we see a threat that threatens the whole species, that we'll pull together.
We unite.
Maybe.
We unite. Yep.
Oh my
we
God.
as a species want to help one another. That's fear is not natural to us. It's not natural. We're not meant to live in fear. We're not meant to live distraction by distraction. We're meant to live a happy, blissful life. We're supposed to learn how to control energy, which is our emotions and everything like that. And it really is all frequencies. They can even use the frequencies, you know what I mean, to cause us fear or to cause us pain or to cause us.
Correct.
If the TV doesn't do it for you, don't worry. The frequencies or the chemtrails will. If that doesn't do it for you, don't worry. The GMOs will. If that doesn't do it for you, don't worry. The broken families, the broken home will. It's like.
And again, I want to get back to that. So why are they putting this up there? Well, if there's say 130 of these people, and I bring that up because of what I've studied, 130 of these people are families in control of these unacknowledged programs. What is their fear? The only thing they have to fear is losing control of all of us, because there's 7 billion of us and 130 of them. So if we were to all see this, and we would come together as a species, possibly realize that we could probably do something about this, or at least unite in meditation to ask for help. And I think that is ultimately the goal, is that when trauma causes evolution, that's what it evolves our spirit and our soul. And it sounds silly,
we own it, we don't disown it.
Yep. If everything's always okay, everything's great, you don't learn. So trauma, this disclosure, whatever happens, this disclosure is going to be traumatic on humanity, but then we will be able to evolve with that trauma. And so it's a matter of how do we get more people awake. And I don't know what is coming, but I know that something is. And I think we're all on that page.
I think we should discuss Project Bluebeam, and the possibility that they really might think they can pull something off. They really might think that they can, play. Go ahead.
At this point, I really don't see how they would.
No, I'm just saying.
I would hope not. I really would hope not.
But I'm not saying they won't try. I don't think it's going to go very well.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
when you bring Bluebeam into the mix, it's like, you know, we know that they've been developing technologies to create holograms and other things to
They're
use
insane.
in warfare. To use in warfare.
The
right?
technology is insane.
Diabolical genius.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, that's the other thing that's hard for people. Like you really have to have an open mind to you know. One of the things I find in our community that we have in common is we all love science fiction.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And we all love
I have
Star
a
Trek.
Doctor Who tattoo.
Right on.
I mean, come on.
The Time Lord.
I have
favorite
seen-
Time Lord. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's like there's a certain imagination that you have to even allow the possibility of these things happening. The problem is,
But I think also,
have not cultivated any kind of imagination. So if it doesn't fit the current paradigm, it doesn't fit. What they don't realize is history teaches us that time and time again, cultures and communities and villages and groups that thought they had a permanent thing going, one day all of a sudden found that it wasn't permanent. It ended.
correct. And I think that the technology now is actually, the sci-fi of yesterday is actually reality. I mean, these things are so close to what we saw, you know, when we were growing up as kids. We saw some of this stuff. These direct energy weapons that they're using, they're directing this plasma, starting fires, melting cars. This is what we were seeing in Star Wars, you know, and Star Trek.
Yeah.
And these lasers. The sci-fi of yesterday is the technology of today.
You know, it's
Yes,
so
it is.
funny.
It goes back to the Arthur C. Clarke talking about anything advanced, any type of advanced technology that you weren't aware of would appear like magic or supernatural to someone who wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. It's just kind of
Precisely.
funny that I keep seeing different things that end up. I see why they end up in sci-fi movies, or why they did. Just real world events that correlate directly into the timeline and go back into the program.
Exactly. And it's part predictive programming too. I think there's a lot of
Oh, that's a
programming
big
in
part.
these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to let us know, hey, I mean, did you all see that the new Transformer movie, and on the wall behind the physicist it says, "I have to tell you, I have to kill you."
Yeah.
So, and it's like a split set. That is bizarre. That is just,
No,
and there's more of that going on.
do you see the way right there where he announces how the radiation will be on us, the microwaves and all? That basically
Like
we're going to be
popcorn, yeah.
the kernels are going to be popping,
Yeah.
pop, pop, pop.
Well, that's what I heard about the
Drippy pop
5G
bag.
was that it destroyed DNA, but I haven't seen the patent, so I couldn't tell you. They may be trying to stop or kill the junk DNA that actually activates and allows us to thrive in this environment and not just survive.
Well, guys, and then so I guess, you know, the kind of the themes that kind of came out of this was the universe is a lot bigger than we've been told. There's a lot more going on than just meets the eye. Even we've been seeing, because we try to think of it, at least WSO, we've been thinking of this in 3 dimensions, that there's a lot at play here, and that the individual we do have the control over our emotions. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. And the way you get there to that control over your is meditating, guys. You gotta learn how to control your brain and your soul and your emotions. I mean, you wouldn't see in the Bible a million times, fear not, if it wasn't possible for you to fear not.
Yeah, and prayer still works. I mean, prayer does. It
Yeah,
does.
prayer. Yes, and prayer and the whole armor of God, prayer. I ask for that every day because all of us are in a fight we're into some stuff that could bring in unwelcome entities or non-human negative energies very quickly. So I think all of us should, you know, be very consistent with that type of meditation and prayer, and get away from the computers and TVs at least once a day. That has helped me significantly come to more realizations also. And ask if you have a question about something, ask for it in the prayer. I seem to be getting more answers as I ask God and my higher self for those, you know, what does this look like? Or what is going on?
Yeah, that's what he told me, was that the storehouses of knowledge have been open for all.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, you guys, because I don't think a lot of us ask.
Yeah, my mistake was I asked to know I asked to know the plan from beginning to end that he showed me, and it almost drove me insane.
I know the first thing that when I started to really be aware of spirit and God and all that stuff, and I started to pray, I can remember praying, I want truth, man. I want truth. I want the truth. I remember just saying, I want it. And I was adamant I wanted it. And guess what?
You got it.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Well,
here you go.
Well, hey, I wanted to thank you, Star. We're going to have you back on. We're going to have you walk through your diagram one of these weekends and, and
sure.
understand this as we progress. Alex, was there any other images that you wanted to show before we let the audience go, though? Because I know you were excited to share some stuff.
And did we lose Daisy?
Yeah, we lost Daisy.
Oh, well, bye, Daisy.
Bye, Daisy.
What happened to Daisy? Where did she go?
She dropped off. I'm not sure.
It could have been an internet connection.
Possibly.
Let me see right here what I got right here to share with you. I got like, there's all kinds.
But Alex was so anxious to share stuff. Yeah, her phone died. So, but go ahead. There she is.
Am I sharing screen? Can you see my screen?
Yep. No, not yet.
Not yet.
Where are we at? Where am I at? Here we go. Share screen.
So Daisy, we're just going to look at a couple of Alex's photographs, and then we're going to call it a day.
Okay.
Call it a day.
I'm going to go ahead and go then. I got somebody coming by.
All right, John. We'll see you, brother.
All right, man. You guys
Bye,
have a good
John.
Bye,
John.
Nice meeting you.
Bless you.
Nice meeting you.
Can you see my screen there, Steve? Steve, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. What I want to show you what's this right here on top. This taken in Egypt. There's something protruding out from the side, and this was taken in Egypt too, right here.
Egypt.
I've always had an attraction to Egypt.
Me too. And I've noticed the lines also, Alex, that you're showing. I've noticed the lines a whole lot. Like I pointed out in one of my last videos, I drew the lines that it's making that shape. Come on. It is just wild.
And then right here, this was in California. Don't know what the heck this is, but look at it is a regular. Someone was walking and they were walking their dog, and then they saw this rectangle, something just kind of like make a shadow. So they just took out their phone and they just took a photo of this big old shadow. I told him straight out. I told him straight out. I said that was the Anunnaki ship right there.
Well, I think that there's I'm going to share some stuff with Steve, but I think that there are some people maybe using transportals and maybe coming in and out of this dimension. But I'm getting some strange shapes too, like that.
Do you see this?
I think that our government has that. I think they have the technology.
This was taken in Africa today. This morning.
Wow.
Well,
do you all feel like things are escalating a little bit? Like it seems like things are getting strange.
Yeah, I feel like the frequencies raising higher and higher. Every time you go outside, I feel like more negativity. That's what you feel like. You feel like you're positive, like all your positive, the inside of you, your positivity is like dying once you walk outside. Like all the negativity just comes and rushes in you at once. That's why I feel when I go outside all the time.
That's the problem that we need to work on here. This is something that we need to fix. You know what I mean? We're so good at the positivity.
Hold on,
Alex, those scalar harmonizers?
Yeah, Daisy, finish what you were saying. So this is what we have to. Go ahead.
Well, I just think that this is what we need to do. You know, we do need to focus on positivity and raising our frequency and being happy, because we do see a lot of anger outside every time we go anywhere. It's all negativity, and it needs to stop. It's fueling the problem. Like we had said, anger is fueling this all, you know, and it's just something that we can fix. This is something we can work on together.
So, Sarah, now you go ahead.
So, yeah, I agree. I think that when you go outside, that you're really, you know, you've got a barrier with your home, some glass, some wood, some whatever, concrete. When you go outside, you're in the war path. So you've got electromagnetic frequencies going in and out of your brain that are, you know, clicking those buttons. They're pushing your buttons intentionally. So just to be aware of it, I think, is important.
Especially when it's people like us who are so sensitive to it. You know, this is a big thing too. There are more people that are more sensitive to these frequencies now, you know, more than ever. And as you said, things seem like they're speeding up. It seems like time is speeding up. I feel like it is coming to a head, you know, and it's more important now to get out the positive message and the love more than ever, and to let others know that we're here. I got you. I'm on your side. You're not crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Alex, those were some pretty remarkable photographs that sparked quite a conversation. Do you have any more that you want to put up there?
I'm trying to show you. Trying to show them. Oh, here it is. This is the photo of the day. You know what? All the debunkers could say what they want, do what they want, but tell me this, guy. How can you get 3 suns? Hold on. Wait till this reload up. I tell you. Give me. How can you get 3 suns on the horizon? Look at that.
Oh
How
my
can you
gosh.
get 3 suns? 1, 2, 3. Tell me how is it possible for you to get 3 suns in the horizon?
You can't even do that if you're shooting out a window to try and recreate this picture. Even if you try and debunk it, you can't. You really can't.
Exactly. This is actually, you know where this was taken? In our states, guys. It was taken in Milwaukee.
Wow.
This is
Well, guys, I've got to
That's
drop off here
evidence.
too. I got my little boy up. So, Steve, thank you for having me. Daisy, Alex, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to
Yeah,
talking
so
to you
nice
guys
to
again
meet you.
soon.
Nice meeting you.
I wish you all a blessed day.
You too.
Bless you.
Thank
All right,
you, guys.
so see Alex and Daisy, the way we started out.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts, Daisy?
I think that it's a beautiful thing what we're trying to do, and thank you, Steve, so much for bringing us together and, you know, really being a force in this, and really wanting, you know, just to spread the love and the word, and the way you do it in such a positive way. It really is different than you see other people do it, and this is how we got to go at it, guys, together, positive, loving, and knowing that we're here for one another. And if anybody ever needs me, please, you know, feel free to email me or get a hold of me. Please check out my page, and thank you again. It's been awesome.
What's your page? If you have a YouTube channel.
Her channel is DAMN, and a link will be below. Bon Daisy, and we'll have the link to Alex's, to Stars, to, you know, to John. Everybody's. We'll have everybody's link up. But Alex, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is.
Sorry about that. That was me.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
My final thoughts is I agree with Daisy. We all have to stick together. We all need to love on each other. And I'm glad that you actually did this panel where we all got together. We all could elaborate what's going on. The main thing is what the subscribers need to know is that we're not trying here to scare anybody. We're here to tell everybody this is a beautiful thing that is happening. You know, it's not scary. This is a beautiful thing. We're all in this together. And one thing is that we're all going to be here for one another. We're not going to be pushing each other away. We're not going to be trying to do anything like that. We're going to be here for one another. Like Daisy said too, if any of you guys need us, you guys have our email addresses, you guys have everything, and you guys can get in contact with us. I just want to tell you guys, I love you guys all.
Right on, man. And that's beautiful. And that's exactly where I'm coming from, guys. They want to tear us down. They want to tear us apart. They want us not trusting each other. They want us to be afraid of each other. They want us to be skeptical of each other. And I, for one, do not consent. I choose to love you guys. I choose to bring more people into my circle and not less people into my circle. And by the way, the final thing I want to say today before I let y'all go, you absolutely can control fear. You absolutely can do it.
Yes, we can.
Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining, you guys. Love you.
Nice meeting you, Daisy.